The list is so long, it would take us 2 hours to go through it, but let's start there. So, this is a bill that is actually, when we have just been told by the trustees 2 weeks ago that both Social Security and Medicare face insolvency in 8 years, this is a bill that would hasten that insolvency for Social Security by probably a full
Right.
year. So, how, when you have a president who is not alone in pandering to seniors and making all
Right.
sorts of ridiculous, irresponsible promises, I will not fix Social Security when what we need to do is fix it, this bill would actually jeopardize people who depend on that program even more than they are already vulnerable.
If and I'm going to editorialize here in honor of Paul Songas. Good morning, 92.9 FM in Boston. Maya, from Peterson and Songas and Sam Nunn out to where we are now, the litmus paper is our interest payments are a moonshot. This embeds that moonshot ever further, doesn't it?
I was just talking about Paul Songas at dinner last night and how much I really appreciated the people want like dynamism and huge sizzle in their political candidates. And I love boring and just the facts. And Paul Songas was so great at that. And there have been others who have too. Yeah, interest payments, which may be boring to some, but actually is one of the things that people care about the most when they worry about fiscal policy. Interest payments are squeezing out every other element of the budget. And they are doing so at perhaps the most important time for us to be thinking about how do we reposition ourselves geopolitically? What does this AI race mean? What are the disruptions that are going to happen to the workforce? And how do we make sure that we use technology productively and help with those disruptions? All of these things are where you should be having the private sector, the public sector thinking through these strategically for the long term. Interest payments are undermining our ability to do exactly that. They are the second largest item of the budget. They are the single fastest growing item of the budget. And it is all about paying for our borrowing from the past, which is keeping us from focusing on the priorities of the future.
Maya, what do you say to those folks who say, hey, as long as people keep coming up to the Fed window and buying our treasuries, we have nothing to worry about this deficit thing?
Yeah, I understand that argument. It's the same thing that be made by somebody who wants to walk all the way up to a cliff and then over it before they decide to slow down. It is nonsensical to wait until there is a loss of confidence in our treasuries. We have so many benefits being the reserve currency, being the safe haven where people want to buy our debt domestically and foreign, and that has helped keep interest rates down. But we've also had to rely on the Fed to keep rates down. We've seen real concerns and interest in diversifying away from the dollar and concerns about those treasury markets. We are having to
Right.
manipulate the markets now in multiple ways to create higher demands for treasuries at a time when we know that the supply is going to be growing. And it's as though instead of saying, hey, let's slow down on our supply of treasuries, we're trying to think of new fake ways to artificially
Right.
create or require demand for them. Let's structurally rebalance the budget so that we're not so dependent on borrowing from everybody around the world.
A generous brief this morning. We continue with Maya MacGuineas. Thrilled that she's with us with the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. Good morning on your commute across the nation. For the second half of the year, I'm going to be emphasizing YouTube, our new technology, in your office, at home. YouTube, subscribe to Bloomberg Podcast. Okay, Maya, you're a hitter. I know, like you're in the St. Regis bar. It's another Marriott.
I
It's
know.
another Capuano. We were talking, Maya, about the gritty hotel in Oprah there for the Bezos wedding in Venice. Let's move to where Maya hangs out. In the St. Regis bar, Maya, in Washington, Republicans are doing Republican politics of another time and place. Isn't their modern constituency more conservative and more genuinely worried about our deficit? Do the Republicans get that linkage?
I think you can't even say the Republicans and mean one thing at this point. There's so many different factions to the Republican Party. It's true for the Democrats as well, but the spotlight is on them and their differences right now. It's been really interesting to watch the development of this reconciliation package because you have the old Republicans, those who believed in lowering tax rates and believed that that would funnel enough growth to offset significant
Yeah.
amounts of this. You have the MAGA Republicans who are really much more populist and are worried about these changes to entitlement benefits. Remember, Republicans used to acknowledge we needed to fix entitlements. Now they're running away from Social Security and Medicare, which are the two we need to focus on. And there's
Right.
disagreements about how far we should go with food stamps or Medicaid. And there is just a huge disagreement within the party. Are they the tech leaders? Are they the populists? Have they taken many from the Democrats who want entirely different
Okay.
things? And I think that the tough thing with fiscal policy is
Right.
nobody really wants the policies that we have to
Right.
contend with in order to fix our debt and deficit, which is getting more revenues, controlling our spending, and fixing our entitlements.
Right.